Good morning. It is Thursday, July 20th. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, the Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at HCC. Pleased to be joined by my co-host today, Dr. Lana Pigal, who is the Northwest College Communications Director. Good morning, Lana.
Good morning, Sade. How are you?
Doing well. For those who are just joining us for the first time or may need a refresher, tell everyone everywhere they can find us.
Sure. We are live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Thanks so much for that. Well, as you know, Lana, because you join me quite often on Thursdays, Thursday is Family Fun Day, and we have the return of one of our favorite guests to talk about doing its part in ocean pollution solutions. Joining us to talk about that today is Jessica Reyes, who is the Public Relations Manager at the Houston Zoo. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Hi there, and thanks so much for having me back. Can't wait to talk all the fun things going on here.
Awesome. Thanks. Well, you and Lana are going to have a great conversation about that in just a second. But first, we're congratulating our HCC Coleman program for winning a big award for the 10th year in a row. Think about anything you've done consistently for 10 years and say, you know what, you should be impressed by this. Joining us to talk about it is Teodoro Tovar, and he likes to go by Teddy. That's our program director for our respiratory therapy program at HCC Coleman College for Health Sciences. Welcome back to the show, Teddy.
Good morning, Sade. And yes, just call me Teddy. Keep it simple. Thank you for having me back on the show. Appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody.
Yeah, and congratulations to you and the team on your respiratory therapy program, recently receiving an award for the 10th straight year. Tell us more, the name of the award, and what's that criteria, and what are you all being recognized for?
Well, the criteria for the award is essentially awarded to the programs that their graduates have achieved one of the highest credentialing exams upon graduation and being able to go out and get gainful employment. Some of our primary employers, which are the hospitals in the medical center and surrounding area, they seek that credential, which is the RRT, which stands for Registered Respiratory Therapist. And that allows our students to obviously get gainful employment, but it also opens up opportunities to the different various areas within the hospital that they can work. For example, they could work in general floor care. They could work in the ICUs, in the neuro ICU. One area, for example, at Herman System is the shock trauma here in the medical center. Those are high, intense areas of work for respiratory therapists. And so having that credential allows the students or the graduates, should I say, to be able to work in those areas. Now, while they're in the program, we ensure that our students are able to visit the different hospitals in different areas, and so they get their training there. So these hospitals have a privilege of having a first look at our students prior to graduation, and I'm really, really proud of our students. Most of our guys will have jobs before they even graduate. For example, the 13 students that are graduating this month, as a matter of fact, next Friday, the 28th, out of the 13, 11 are already working, and they've been working since the fall semester of 22.
And I see why you all are getting recognized for this. And, I've been having conversations. We've gotten media inquiries here at HCC post the Supreme Court's decision to turn down Biden's student loan plan. And the media is asking and trying, around this narrative of, okay, what does that mean for student loan borrowers now? Well, it means they're probably going to be looking at how much they're going to make in jobs and securing jobs before they go out. So that ROI on a degree starts making it more worth the investment. So it's really exciting to hear. And we talked a lot about our workforce programs and that allow you to kind of go from that degree immediately into the workforce. And this sounds like one of the perfect examples of a program that are really preparing not only for just one role, but it sounds like even growth within multiple opportunities within the hospital system.
Oh yes, there's plenty of growth. We have one graduate from 2005 that is currently at Maria Herman TMC here in the medical center. And she's actually broken barriers. And one barrier that we're really proud of her with is that she's actually now a member of the Life Flight team for the neonatal ICU. Now, in history, they've never known to have a respiratory therapist on the air transport team. So this is just great. It's phenomenal. She's breaking barriers. She's making our institution known, or the program known, and we're extremely proud of her. And I think that her being able to achieve that much in such a short time is a testament of the program's faculty's commitment to our graduates for student success, and our investment in our students to make sure that they are graduating as competent therapists. We strongly feel and believe that we have an ethical responsibility to make sure that we have competent respiratory therapists out there taking care of our communities.
I love to hear that. Like, and you hear the passion in your voice, and it sounds like it is just going all through the faculty and passed on through our students. And, when we think about, a lot of times people say they want to go into the medical field, you often don't hear respiratory therapists come up often. So if a student is listening, help them understand what is available, what is possible as a respiratory therapist, and more about the job.
Well, as a respiratory therapist, as I mentioned earlier, we have the ability to work in various areas within the hospital. Our role is expanding. We are able to work now in physicians' offices, running what we call pulmonary function testing. So in the program, our students get a variety of training, all the way from neonatal, which is premature babies, all the way to geriatrics. So we treat the vast population, depending on the disease process and the area of interest. More importantly, the area of interest for the student. That is why we have a diversified clinical training, so they can see and experience the different areas. And then once they get closer to graduation, they're able to determine, oh, I want to specialize in a certain area. For example, when I started school, I fell in love with neonatal. So I specialized in the neonatal ICU, where I spent 20 years of clinical experience there, clinical practice in there. Our program is very fortunate. Within our faculty, there is 4 of us, and within the 4 of us, we have 100+ years, literally 100+ years of work experience in the different areas, from adults to pediatric to neonatal. So I think that shows the strength of our program, that we're able to expose our students and also share personal experiences that gives a more realistic view of what they're going to be walking into. For the interested student, we're very strong. This program is very strong in math and science. So we look at those applications for the students that do well in those areas, such as biology and obviously math. But more than anything, if you're going to come into healthcare, you have to have the passion to want to help people. It has to come from within. Unfortunately, it is not something that you're going to learn. You're going to have that compassion, that empathy, and that's just something natural that's going to come from someone.
I love that you pointed that out, because even in my own hiring, just even in communications, I've told friends often, I was like, it's some things you can't teach. Some things you just have to come with, and then I can help you upskill in these other areas. So yeah, that the core of everything in that, it's hard to teach empathy to adults. That's something you got to get really early on, right? And so you've really done a perfect description of, if anyone was wondering if they're a good fit for the role. But if you are struggling in math and in science, there is, just encouraging students that we have resources here at HCC, especially if you think about a student who is coming back after being out of school for a long time. Because it's like, maybe I was good at it in high school, but I've been out of school for a long time. We do have the tutoring and other resources available to make sure, because you have to apply to get into this program, right? Like, students come do their basics and then apply to get into our Coleman programs. But just want to make sure anybody who's listening, there is an opportunity. Don't let that stop you.
No, of course. We're very fortunate here at Coleman, on the Coleman campus. We have a very strong student services division that, again, offers all those different types of resources, the tutoring. And let's not forget, our faculty, the faculty of this program, we're dedicated to our students' work here. We have extended office hours. We make sure that we're available for extra tutoring, for extra lab practice. Just as an example, yesterday I was here till 5 o'clock tutoring someone as they get prepared for their finals next week. So we're here. We are dedicated. We're invested in our students, and we want to make sure that everyone is successful. We want to make sure that everyone that comes here gets their 2-year degree and is able to go out and get that job that's going to make a change in their life, not just for the short term, for the long term.
Such a great way for us to wrap out with that call to action. For everyone who's listening, we've been talking to Teddy Tovar, who is the program director of our respiratory therapy program at HCC Coleman, who's been sharing more about the opportunities to be a respiratory therapist and go into our program and come out earning up to $77,000. And fall enrollment is still open. They're wrapping out their summer program, so there's still an opportunity for you to join the Eagle community. We'll have info posted after the show about the program. Thanks so much for joining us, Teddy.
Thank you again. It was a pleasure.
Well, moving on to Jessica Reyes, Public Relations Manager of the Houston Zoo. Welcome back, Jessica.
Hi there, and thanks so much for having me back.
Absolutely. We're here to help save the sea turtles by educating on the use or the non-use of plastics. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say absolutely. The Houston Zoo is right in the middle of our sea turtle saving campaign, which is really focusing on saving sea turtles and all marine life. And we want to teach people about it and let them know what they can do at home or what they can do when they come here and visit the zoo to help marine life in our beautiful Texas coast.
Great. So it said that single-use plastics are used for a moment, but their impact on the ocean and the environment can last a lifetime. So how is that? How does it last a lifetime?
Yes, well, it takes so many years for each specific kind of plastic and really trash that we're dumping into our oceans that we may not even notice that actually poses a danger to our marine life. You know, if you toss a Pepsi can or a water bottle into the ocean just because it's maybe closer than going to the trash can, we have sea turtles and other animals that can become entangled in it. They can get a fin stuck in it, or if it's a turtle, it can, you know, it could just become very dangerous for them. And there's nobody in the ocean to help them remove those kinds of plastics. If, you know, also if you're a fisherman and you possibly toss your fishing line into the ocean because there isn't anywhere to toss those things nearby, we've seen so many turtles become entangled in it to the point where the fishing line is just wrapped so tight around those legs and those limbs that they lose blood circulation by the time we get our hands on them. Hopefully, you know, it's not too late and we're able to save them, rehabilitate them, and ultimately our goal is to release them back into the ocean once they're healthy.
And the Houston Zoo became the first zoo in the country to eliminate plastic packaging in its gift shops. Is that correct?
Yes, we did that not too long ago. We started on the sustainability mission a few years ago, and that has been our latest accomplishment. So, you know, we're still discovering other areas where we can improve. There's always room for improvement here on our campus, being this large, and working with vendors for them to also look for alternatives to plastics, to single-use plastics mainly. So it's definitely been a worthwhile campaign for us. And ultimately, we'd love to be completely plastic-free packaging, plastic-free use, and single-use plastics here at the zoo. But step by step, we think we're going to get there.
So it looks like the zoo annually has eliminated 300,000 plastic bottles, 800,000 plastic bags, and 23,000 plastic straws. That's a big impact.
Yes, it is. And that's just an example of, you know, what people can be doing at home. That's what the zoo is doing. And because we have so many wonderful guests come see us each year, those numbers really do add up. And that's not to say that, you know, you can't get water here at the zoo. the complete opposite. Just because we don't have single-use plastic water bottles, we do encourage people to bring their reusable bottles. We sell reusable bottles in our gift shops, and you're going to see that we've installed water stations all throughout the zoo. So even though we may not offer those single-use plastics that we used to, we do offer alternatives, and we're asking folks to join us to be part of that action.
That's great. Now, from what I understand, there's an island of plastic waste out in the Pacific floating around about the size of Texas. So I think it's really important that folks understand how plastic impacts our environment. But I'm really excited to talk about turtles. So let's talk about sea turtles and what the zoo does to help them in Texas.
Yes, well, we do several things to save sea turtles here along the Texas coast. We actually have a dedicated team here at the Houston Zoo whose only job is actually they're out in Galveston, and they're our rehabilitation team. There's a phone number that you can call if you see a turtle that may need help, or maybe you see one that's injured and you're not really sure what to do because you're just not equipped to handle that. You can go ahead and call 1-866-TURTLE-5. And somebody from our team is going to answer that call and come out and assess the turtle, determine what kind of help it needs. And if it does end up needing medical care, they bring them over to the facility either in Galveston, or we also have a vet team here at the Houston Zoo in case they do need that long-term medical care. And we've performed surgeries on turtles, whether to remove things from their shells or if they've been struck by boaters, which we see so much in the summertime because so many of us are taking advantage and going to the beach, getting on our boats, trying to just relieve ourselves from this intense heat that we're seeing. So we have a lot of more turtles who need our help. So we do offer that long-term help here at the Houston Zoo.
Yeah,
we also have.
Go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say we also, our ultimate goal is always to release these turtles back once they are healthy. We put a little chip or a little tag on them in case we need to track them or in case they end up being repeat turtles who keep coming back to us so that we know who is who. Ideally, we never see them again because they're healthy and, they go on and live their lives. But we have had instances where we've had the same turtles come back because they need more help.
Yeah, I've been to that facility in Galveston, and it is so impressive. It really, really is, and it's so important to have an organization like that rehabs our sea animals. So, what about the fishing areas? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so fishing areas is another area that we really focus on because there's so many fishermen that use that. And like I mentioned earlier with the fishing line, it's just one example. We've actually put up what are essentially trash cans for fishermen to toss their fishing line or any other plastic waste so that it doesn't go into the ocean. However, we have to man them, right? Someone just like at home has to empty out the trash every so often. And because we're the ones that install them out along our Galveston coast and the Surfside Jetty, we go as a staff, we invite volunteers if they want to come to sign up. We go in the summertime, we go more often just because there's more people and those do tend to fill up faster. But throughout the year, we also go and we clean that up. And while we're there, we also take advantage of, if we're going to make such a long drive to empty this out, let's not just go empty out the fishing line. But let's go and get some of that plastic debris outside and the kind of trash that we find on those jetties. It's quite impressive how many tires you would see near these fishing jetties. But, if we're able to remove as much trash as we can, that's our goal.
Yeah. So how can zoo guests help with this initiative?
Yes, well, we're asking for small actions, right? A lot of people may think, well, I'm just one person. It's not really going to make a difference, but that couldn't be further from the truth. All small actions lead to one big impact. And that's what we really want people to learn when they come here. When they walk through a brand new exhibit, Galapagos Islands, there's messaging all throughout the exhibit of what they can do to help save marine life. And a lot of that means, next time you go to the restaurant and they hand you a straw, say, no, thank you. Do we really need a straw? personally, I'm a straw person myself. So what I've done is I've bought those reusable straws that I take with me when I go somewhere, so that if I need a straw, I make sure that I don't use the single-use plastic straws. Next time you go grocery shopping or just shopping in general, bring your own reusable tote bag. Do we really need to be using so many plastic bags every time we go out and we shop for something? There's just a lot of little things that we can be incorporating into our daily lives to kind of eliminate that single-use plastics and just recycle responsibly as well. If, it is kind of hard to eliminate all plastic from our lives, that's a big radical change. We're not asking that. We're just asking, take one or two things that you might be able to do, whether it's a week or daily, and see how that has an impact.
So I understand you have a rescue named Bobby. Can you tell us about Bobby quickly?
Yes, Bobby is fabulous. She is the star in our One Ocean Aquarium in our new exhibit, Galapagos Island. And Bobby is actually a rescue from that rehabilitation and rescue program that I was telling you about. She's one of those repeat offenders. She came back to us about 3 or 4 times in over a 3-year span or so. And it was later determined that she had a buoyancy issue, which means she was a victim to boat strike. So the government deemed her to be non-releasable back to the wild. So she found herself a forever home right here at the Houston Zoo. And she now, is thriving in her brand new home. And she has all sorts of neighbors, including sharks and stingrays. And she's an ambassador so that we can speak about the importance of saving turtles and what people can do to help save them as well.
Wow, fantastic. Well, thank you, Jessica Reyes, Public Relations Manager of the Houston Zoo. We'll have your information after the show. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks. Well, I guess we're up for news, events, and announcements. So
yes, outside of the announcements to reduce our plastic, so that was a great interview.
It's so important too.
Yeah, well, you were going to kick off. I'm going to let you go right into it.
Then I will talk about our final schedule for IT summer STEM camps. So it's time for the session 4 of HCC's digital and IT summer camps for middle and high school students. The week-long camps also include lunch. And this session 4, starts July 24th and runs through the 28th. And it's about drones and AppleSwift coding. And it's at our Missouri City campus. So check our post after the show for registration information.
Yes, we also have our summer food scholarship program going on at our Spring Branch campus. A food scholarship program from our HCC counselors as well as our student success centers offers free groceries such as fresh fruits, veggies, proteins, canned goods, and more. There is a sign up, but walk-ins are welcome. It'll be happening from 1 to 4, Tuesday, July 25th at the Spring Branch campus in the Student Success Center. Be sure to check out the details posted after the show to access this great resource.
Yeah, they get some really good food in too. Coming up is Black Men Boot Camp, Why Black Male Entrepreneurs Matter. And HCC will offer an empowering series on why Black male entrepreneurs matter. The profound impact these men have on our society and economy will be shared, as well as their strategies to promote inclusivity, diversity, and equal opportunities. The first part of the series is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday, August 1st, and it's a hybrid. And it is at the HCC Administrative Building at 3100 Main Street, Seminar B. And check our post after the show for registration information.
All right. Well, there is still time to check out our Instagram One College exhibition. Instagram is continuing to serve as our digital gallery that is exhibiting the studio classes from all HCC colleges. But the gallery closes next month. The viewing will be available through August 14th. And to check out which Instagram link you need to be paying attention to view that gallery, check the details after the show.
And we are calling all future Eagles because starting your higher education journey can be intimidating. HCC is hosting virtual information sessions to assist students getting registered for fall. HCC admissions advisors will help students apply, secure eligible financial aid, and so much more. Check out our post after the show for details.
All right. Well, fall registration is still opening, and it is upon us that the summer term is coming to a close, and our fall term is going to begin in August. There will be online and in-person classes as we have always had, and I just really encourage you to get in early. There aren't lines right now. Don't wait till August. July is such a good time. There is still time for you to come in and learn about the steps to enroll. The information session that Lana mentioned just before is a great opportunity to learn how to take the next step. But to learn more about our programs, our start dates, and options to cover costs, be sure to visit hccs.edu/apply. Well, coming up tomorrow will be Film Friday on Up to the Minute. We'll have the founder of Spectrum Fusion Studios, who shoots, edits, and writes multimedia content for clients every week, and they're all young adults living with autism. That'll be a great interview, and we'll have another talented program here at HCC highlighted. It's the English department, which will be here to talk about zombie literature, media, and culture, emphasizing the post-apocalypse. That is quite the lineup for our next show. So be sure to tune in. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.